Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you've all had a great weekend so far, and I hope you've all had a great Saturday evening. First of all, do me a massive favour for me. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel and the community if you're new. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and remember to always know to put the notification bell on at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for more Fortnite Chat for Season 4 Last Resort, Rocket League Season 12 Porsche, more previews, more match reactions, and more brand stuff planned for the last few months in 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Good evening to all you legends and all you legendary people, and welcome to the Premier League reaction between Manchester United and Brentford at Old Trafford this afternoon on match day 8 of the 23-24 Premier League season. And as you can tell, my voice is nearly gone. What a stunning climax to the game at Old Trafford this evening at Old Trafford, in front of Ten Hag, in front of the fans and the supporters of Manchester United Football Club. Manchester United have come from behind to win 2-1 against Brentford at Old Trafford this evening, thanks to a double finish. 2 goals from a master stroke of a substitution from Ten Hag for Scott Mctominay, the unlikely hero from today's game, has got Manchester United over the line thanks to 2 dramatic goals. In the 97th minute, United win a free kick through a poor Brentford tackle. United hoof the ball into the box, and the ball gets onto Scott McTominay's head, and he manages to win the game for United 2-1. Thank God for Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay, Scooby-Doo, has won it for Manchester United. Oh my God. Where we were heading for a record-breaking 3rd defeat in a row in all competitions and our worst start in nearly 35 years. Manchester United have somehow come from behind and won this game, but thank God from Scott McTominay to find those 2 goals to get United over the line, because it was looking very doubtful that we were going to find anything from anywhere today, especially how poor we were defensively in the midfield battle as well as in goal as well. United have got damn bloody lucky today. Scott McTominay at the double to win the game. And those Brentford fans today saying in the stadium, Ten Hag is going to get sacked in the morning. I would be looking at your own bloody manager, the way your lot are declining, because you're slipping down that Premier League table at an absolute counter at the moment. Absolutely poor Brentford defended in the 97th minute. Brentford players drop their heads, they drop their confidence, they drop their positivity. They think they've got a point, only for Scott McTominay to ruin their afternoon and to take all 3 points away from Brentford, where Brentford were going to win. I mean, Brentford are going to come away from that game very hard done by, very unlucky. And Man United have got over the line. That was not a convincing performance, but Man United have found something from somewhere to get this win, get the result. And I mean, thank God for Ten Hag to bring Scott McTominay on in nearly 3 to 4 minutes to go. Absolute masterstroke of a substitution to bring Amrabat off to Scott McTominay. And I don't know how McTominay found those 2 goals, by the way, because I've never rated Scott McTominay. I've never wanted him in this team, and I've never wanted him anywhere near Man United shirt for the long-term future. But thank God we found those 2 goals today. Scott McTominay has come to the rescue for Manchester United to get Manchester United out of jail again, because it was looking very precarious at one point. You're looking at that team and you look at that whole second-half performance. I didn't see anything in that second half to convince me United were going to turn this around. It was a very, very poor performance again. United did not turn up against Brentford. Brentford are going to be very hard done by. Now they think they've got all 3 points and they're going to come away with an Old Trafford with a famous win. Brentford have not won at Manchester United since the late 1980s, and that record still stands intact, but only just. I mean, Manchester United are causing absolute chaos for the fans, chaos for the supporters. I mean, phew. I mean, at least it's a win, and we've got the points we desperately needed to climb up that Premier League table, because when you see Brentford are 1-0 up And I was out doing a few jobs. I was helping out my parents this weekend, obviously a bit of a break away from football. And when you come back to watch the game on my phone, thank God I got my phone to watch the game today. United, I mean, that whole team performance, I don't know what's going on. I mean, United are scraping the barrel again. I mean, we're struggling to break down Brentford. I mean, that does say a lot. We are struggling to break down Brentford, and that is saying a lot of the performance, the morale, the confidence and the positivity in that United team at the minute. That United team are defensively are at 6s and 7s. The midfield was at fault for the first goal, as well as a massive Andre Onana mistake yet again. And as for that back four, when you thought it would be a lot more balanced, it was a lot more imbalanced when you're playing Diego Diallo at left back, Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. I mean, the four mercenaries I don't want in that United back four. Bloody hell. I mean, United have got over the line, and at least we've won and we've got the points. But the whole performance today was not pleasing to the eye. I thought United were miles off where they should be. I look at the last 3 games, and when you've got a win, 1 win in your last 3, it's still not very good. And Brentford, you know, to be fair to them, have come to Old Trafford and did play very well. I mean, I still think Brentford are going to be fine. I still don't think Brentford are going to be relegated. I think if Brentford can find the goals they need to keep themselves up in the Premier League, Brentford will stay up very, very comfortably. But the whole performance from United in that first half, when you're leading 1-0 down in the 25th minute, I was very surprised with Man United. They were 1-0 down in 25 minutes. But deep down, I'm not very surprised. I'm not very surprised how we're playing at the moment. The team looks shattered of confidence. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of morale, which is down. The confidence doesn't seem there in the performances. United aren't very convincing, but maybe this Brentford result will kickstart Man United season. And you're going to have to hope it does, because yet again, you're relying on the midfield for goals. And am I surprised the midfield's being relied by the goals for? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in the slightest that Man United are still massively reliant on their midfield for the goals at the moment. That front forward line isn't very good. It isn't good enough to lead this club forward. And you've got to question some of the players that were starting that game today. But one major surprise was today when I saw the lineup. I was quite surprised. Johnny Evans, Maguire, Lindelof and Diego Diallo were all started in that back four. And the one massive difference in that back four was Rafael Varane was not included in the matchday squad, wasn't in the team for today's game. Has Rafael Varane picked up yet another injury, and that is why he has not played today? If Rafael Varane was fit, I do believe it would have been Varane and Lindelof at centre-back for United starting this game with Diallo at left-back. But United were poorly executed. I mean, the goal that leads to the Brentford lead, Casemiro loses the ball in the midfield part of the game, and then it breaks to Brentford, and Brentford are on the counter-attack, and then Brentford have put the ball into the box. It's poorly defended from Manchester United's point of view. The deflection then comes off Lindelof, and it falls nicely to Mathias Jensen, the Denmark international. And Onana's body positioning for that goal to go in is yet again very, very dubious. I could not believe the position Onana was in for that defence of that goal again today. He should be saving that. Like, you really should be saving that from going into the back of the Old Trafford net. That should have been defended, and Onana should have kept the ball out. Onana's positioning for the goal is terrible, and he should have kept the ball out. And United haven't defended that situation very well. They've let the ball come into the box. And the back four is at 6s and 7s. It is all over the place defensively. The back four could not clear the ball, but the whole back four from Maguire to Diallo to Lindelof and Johnny Evans, that doesn't give you any confidence going forward. If that is the forward back line for the next few games and Varane's still not there, that back four is going to concede a hell of a lot more goals playing like that, because the Brentford goal shouldn't be happening on the counter-attack. I mean, no one's closing down the Brentford front three of this. Jensen's been left unmarked, by the way, as well. which leads to the Brentford goal. But Lindelof should have cleared that ball and should have cleared it out of the penalty area, and United should have got the ball away. But to lose the ball in the midfield when Casemiro has been massively secure last season, and from the next two games, from Casemiro's point of view, he got himself sent off against Galatasaray, and he cost us the first goal, as well as Onana again. So Onana and Casemiro are now starting to make several big mistakes that are leading to the opposition counter-attacking and putting the ball in the net. And that should not be happening from a United point of view, because Casemiro has probably been one of our most secure players in years. And his last two performances have got to be scrutinised for what they are. Casemiro, the quality player that we all know he can be, his last two performances have been nowhere near. He was poor against Galatasaray, and he's been poor again today. He should not be losing that ball in midfield. And changes did need to be made in that second half. And Casemiro, quite frankly, was rightly dragged off by Ten Hag, and Christian Eriksen was brought on to replace him. And then Amrabat moved into the CDM position. We saw a lot more of Amrabat in the centre defensive midfield position today, where Amrabat is the preferred position in that midfield three. Casemiro is costing Manchester United now, and so is Andre Onana. I mean, those two are becoming a massive liability, in my opinion. And I think defensively, United have got to look at that. United should not be playing the way they're playing. The football is still, quite frankly, very, very shit. I'm not surprised by the criticism at half-time we were getting from the United fans and supporters, because United have been playing like this all bloody season and there's been no consistency on the pitch. I think, when you have a bit more of a balanced team and you've got a more of a secure back four, that as soon as that security goes out because you've got no Varane in the back four, you're more likely going to know that Harry Maguire and Lindelof are going to cause several big mistakes. And that did lead to the Brentford goal. And Brentford did deserve the lead. They came to Old Trafford in that first half yet again and absolutely outplayed that Man United team. I was quite surprised by Brentford's intensity, but I'm not surprised by it because Thomas Frank is a very, very good manager, and he's done a very, very good job in charge of Brentford since he's got them up to the Premier League. And I'm not surprised they came out of the intensity they did. And they knew Man United were vulnerable. They looked at those last two Man United matches. They looked at Crystal Palace. They looked at Galatasaray. And they knew Manchester United were very vulnerable. They knew Man United concede goals. They know their midfield's a bit inability. And they know the back four, as soon as they've got no Varane and Sandro Martinez, Man United have got no security. There is no clean sheet being kept with that back four in that team. I mean, it's absolutely shambolic, the team we've got at the moment. And Ten Hag has survived another day. I mean, if Man United would have lost that game today, I seriously do think Man United would have been making a big decision in these next 2 weeks of this, yet again, pointless international break that we're going on again just to let England play a few pointless friendlies when we all deep down know England are going to win the next two games. And United have got away today with a massive 3 points. And I'm hoping that will kickstart the season. I'm hoping the two goals we scored, thanks to a midfielder that is completely out of Erik Ten Hag's plans, completely surplus requirements, who we rejected bids for in the summer from West Ham. I could not believe Scott McTominay. I mean, you're relying on the midfield to get you over the line here, and you shouldn't have to keep doing it. You really shouldn't have to keep doing it. From a manager's point of view, when your midfield is scoring most of your goals, you know where the problem is, and that is up front. You know that front three is bloody dreadful. I still can understand today, yet again, by Ten Hag's tactics, why Mason Mount was playing. I couldn't justify why Bruno Fernandes, yet again, is being played on the right wing when he's not a winger. There was clearly errors in that team that are still being made by certain individuals. Certain players are not putting a shift in, and certain players are being played out of position, and I don't know why we're doing it. I think we know why we're doing it. I think that team at the moment has got no quality. There's nothing special about that team in a minute. United are scraping the barrel against basement clubs like Brentford, who, no disrespect, you've done a very good job since you've been up in the Prem, and you've got a great club, and it's a very well-run club. You've got great fans, you've got great supporters, but they've completely banded themselves by saying Erik Ten Hag is going to get sacked in the morning. Yet we've come from behind and we've beat you. I still think Brentford are going to be fine, by the way. I think, Thomas Frank will keep Brentford up. I just think their main problem is scoring goals, especially when You've got Ivan Toney, who's been treated massively badly by the press, the media, by the club. And for his ban to be given an 8-month ban, I think is a complete and utter disgrace. I think if Ivan Toney was in that team for Brentford today, he would have caused Maguire and Lindelof fucking hell. I mean, he would have caused those two hell today. And I mean, thank God that Brentford didn't come to Old Trafford and have a fully fit available team, because they would have done damage. And in that first half, it could have easily been 2 or 3-0 Brentford. It could have been so easily a Brentford win here. And I mean, if United are going to keep scraping the barrel every week, United are going to have a very hard, long season playing the football we are playing. It's not good enough. It's not acceptable. United need to be stepping up to the plate. We need to be stepping up against teams like Brentford and putting them away. But it's not convincing. United have got very lucky through a Scottish midfielder who only gets in the Scottish national team because him and John McGinn are the only decent Scottish players that play for the Scottish national team. That is why Scott McTominay, maybe it was a complete plan, masterstroke from Ten Hag to bring Amrabat off of Scott McTominay. I think if that substitution would have happened, United would have lost this game. But, you know, at the end of the day, United have got the home win back. We've got a home result. We've got 3 points. We've secured another win. And I think United today have got to have a hard, long look at that team. And you see the improvement that's needed. You see the quality we're lacking. You look at the amount of injuries we've still got. I mean, Varane is now being added to that injured list. I mean, the amount of injuries that guy's had, he's got more injuries than a bloody paper cut. And it's very, very worrying. It is very, very worrying that Varane is picking up so many bloody injuries. And this is why probably Real Madrid sold him, because they knew he was injury prone. They knew his injuries are causing problems, and he knew his fitness was going. And I think Real Madrid played a masterstroke to Man United, selling him to the club, selling him to us, Man United completing the signing. And Varane yet again has found himself out of the squad, not in the team today. And that clearly is down not to team selection. That is down to yet again Varane has picked up another injury, which is another big blow going forward defensively, that United are going to be at 6s and 7s, because when you've got no Wan-Bissake, you've got no Malacia, you've got no Luke Shaw, you've got no Reguilon, you've got no Lisandro Martinez. If Reguilon and Martinez and Varane were all fit today, they would have started that game quite comfortably for Manchester United, and that back four would have been a lot more secure. And I think we would have created a bit more chance to put the ball into the back of the Brentford net. But it's very concerning that the amount of injuries we're picking up, and you've got an international break now for 2 weeks. If United were to pick up any more injuries in this international break, United are going to find themselves without a squad, without a team, and the squad depth is going to be on its knees. I mean, the options off the bench are looking a little bit better. It's still not fantastic when, you know, you've got players like Antony, Garnacho and Eriksen yet again who have missed out again on the starting position in this United team. And you look at that front three today, Marcus Rashford, again, another abysmal performance. Shooting on goal, shooting on sight, hogging the ball, doing all the work, trying to be a hero. And Rashford does not look like the player like he was last season. He looks a lack of confidence, a lack of positivity, a lack of desire. He's massively out of form. He's massively inconsistent. And that showed against Brentford today that Rashford is becoming a big, big problem in this United team. And on the left wing, which is his preferred position, you know, for the first 15 to 20 minutes at the start of that second half, he was causing, you know, a few little problems here and there. But overall, he was still trying to do everything on his own, trying to be a hero, trying to grab the match ball and win the game. And, you know, I think Ten Hag had enough of that ability going forward. And I think you look at the right wing as well, when you're deploying Bruno Fernandes out on the right wing, that is not a suited position. He's being played massively out of position. And soon as Fernandes is shifted back into that midfield three, Bruno Fernandes is a lot better player. He's not a winger. And I think Ten Hag has got to realise it. I know he's got options there with Eriksen, Fernandes, Casemiro, McTominay, Mount, Hannibal, Mabry. United looks such a better team with Bruno Fernandes in that midfield three. But it's just down to the options that Ten Hag is trying to balance things. He's trying to balance the midfield. He's trying to balance the game time. And I completely get that. But playing players out of position, it's not going to lead to any success on the pitch. And it showed again today. Soon as Mount was substituted, we looked a lot better. Soon as Amrabat was substituted and Scott McTominay came on to grab the 2 goals late on to win the game for United, it looked a bit more balanced. And I was quite surprised by that. I mean, when I saw McTominay coming on and Antony coming on and Garnacho and Eriksen, I thought, these four are going to have to produce something from somewhere. And I don't think the substitutions were that great. I think Antony, clearly, I don't think he's in the right shape of mind to even be back in the United team. Clearly, I still think he's got everything which is going on in his personal life behind the scenes. I don't think that's helping either, personally, from a United fan point of view. I think bringing him on the right wing, which, Antony is our right winger, we paid 85 million for him. We had to go for it. And I think, time will tell if Antony is ever going to be able to get back to the best he was before, everything, what he's going on in his personal life. You're going to have to hope Antony comes back from all that and starts producing in the United shirt again, because he looked very lethargic in that second half when he came on. He didn't look up for it. He was playing some very poor passes. His balls into the box, he produced one or two which didn't reach a United player. He just looked a completely different player to the player we had from Ajax. And I think with everything going on, he shouldn't be in this team. I do not think he's ready to start. And I think this is why Ten Hag is not using him. I think Antony needs to go away from United for this 2-week international break, get back in his Brazil team and start playing some football and start producing the form that we all know Antony can go play with. But I think United really need to start using a recognised right winger on that right wing, because Fernandes isn't working. And like I said, as soon as you put him back at midfield three, United look so more comfortable, and they look more comfortable without Mason Mount, and that is making a big difference. Soon as certain players are dropped and certain players are substituted, and we put our preferred players back in the positions we know they belong in, United look a bit more secure. They look a bit more balanced. And I think Ten Hag has got to start realising that playing players out of position and not playing in the correct position, it will cause you problems. And it showed again today. We had no distribution into the box for Hojlund. There was no distribution to Rashford in the box, but Hojlund was basically an isolated man. I mean, yet again, he put in another world-class performance, and you've got to be very, very proud of what Rasmus Hojlund is trying to do. His body strength and the way he can turn and outpace the opposition centre-backs of the opposition team. That is something going forward that I'm very, very happy with, that we've actually got a world-class striker going forward that can put the ball in the net. And I mean, he didn't score today, but yet again, he's putting in a shift, Rasmus Hojlund, and I think he cares. He actually gives a shit, and I think he wants to win. And that is what I like about the signing of Rasmus Hojlund altogether, that he puts a shift in every single time he pulls the United shirt on. And a lot of other United players will not do that. A lot of them will not put the shift in that is needed to a full intensity 90-minute game. They won't do it because they don't feel like it's worth it. But Rasmus Hojlund has come here. He's got the right attitude, he's got the right commitment, and he's got the right passion to be a Man United player long term. And I think Rasmus Hojlund will score more goals. I just think today he was very, very unlucky. I mean, he had 2 or 3 good chances on goal, and he didn't put them in, which, he's still learning. He's still trying to adapt to life as a Premier League player. But give Rasmus Hojlund time, and I think he's going to be a world-class, phenomenal striker that is going to be able to take his ability up there. I think Rasmus Hojlund has got huge, huge potential going forward to be a world-class, legendary striker for this bloody football club. And I was impressed by his performance. I was impressed by his commitment. I was impressed by his attitude and the desire to win. And luckily, we've got over the line. I mean, it wasn't brilliant from United. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't superb. It was lucky United. If United wouldn't have won that free kick, it was the correct decision to get that ball into the box on the 96th minute. It was the correct decision to hoof that ball into the box and see what happens. Hit and hope, basically. Moments FC has returned. We're basically relying on moments of luck. I don't think United should be relying on moments of luck. You need to start putting teams like Brentford away. They're not that good. Without Ivan Toney, they basically don't have a goal scorer. And their best player by a mile is Mbeumo, who, is causing so many problems down that right wing. I mean, Mbeumo is a world-class right winger, by the way. I highly rate him. I think he's a great Brentford player, and he was causing the low problems. He was causing Lindelof and Maguire problems. His pace absolutely frightens the shit out of us. And that is why United couldn't cope, because they knew Mbeumo has got the skill and he's got the pace to take on that back four, get into the box, get into our penalty area and produce a moment of glory for Brentford. And that is why I think today it showed how well Brentford are organised. That was a well-organised Brentford team in the second half, by the way. United could not break them down. They couldn't break the Brentford resilience down. And that's worrying going forward, that we can't break down a Brentford team that, their midfield is not as great when they don't have Eriksen. They brought that Denmark international, was it Damsgaard, who performed really well at the Euros? Or was it the World Cup? He's not played much football for Brentford. So Brentford have lost a lot of key players in key positions that kept them up in the Premier League. I mean, when everyone said they would get relegated, they were going to go straight back down to the Championship, they would find Premier League life tough, and they weren't going to achieve anything. I hope the doubters and the haters are going to sit there and applaud what Brentford are trying to do here. They're a well-organised football club. They're a well-organised run club. They've got good players, good coaching staff, a great manager, and Thomas Frank is going to look at that Brentford performance, and they know they've missed a massive opportunity to come away with a famous win since the 1980s. But, defensively, Brentford aren't all there. I think Nathan Collins from Wolves they signed isn't very good. I mean, Pinnock was probably their best centre-back today. And also that, was it Aya, who they brought from Celtic? He's a very good centre-back as well. So Brentford's organisation, it was causing United problems because they couldn't break down their midfield. They couldn't break down their back four. And United were just trying to hoof balls into the box. And that isn't always going to work long term. Just trying to hoof the ball into the box. We need to build up as a team and build up possession and break on the counter-attack. We're playing the ball way too many times backwards. We're not trying to counter-attack them. And we're not trying to put teams away that we know we can do. And I think United have got to find the solution to the goal-scoring problems. But can United do it? Is the big, big question I've got to ask from that United team. Have they got the team? Have they got the players? And have they realistically got the squad to be able to beat teams like Brentford every week? Because we're not going to get these results every week, by the way. Scraping a 2-1 against Brentford is not ecstatic. It's not brilliant. It's very, very lucky. You've got lucky today at United that Mctominay has found you 2 goals. Mctominay, long-term, is not the answer, and I completely agree. He's in a graveyard shift with a lot of other deadwood players. But bringing him on, that concerned me. I thought, why are we bringing Amrabat off? Amrabat was playing superbly in that CDM position when Casemiro went off, and then we put Eriksen on for Casemiro to put him next to Mason Mount, which, yet again, that didn't work. Mason Mount and Eriksen is a bloody disaster. That is not working. Bruno Fernandes and Mount isn't working. Casemiro, Mount and Amrabat, that isn't working. So clearly we've brought Mason Mount here and he doesn't really offer United anything going forward. And yet again today, another piss-poor performance. I mean, 60 million on the 2.0 Nemanja Matic, an ex-Chelsea reject that Chelsea were desperate to get rid of. We've paid 60 bloody million. And Chelsea are probably sat there bloody laughing now because what is Mason Mount done in the United shirt? He's produced 1 assist in 1 game in 10, 11 games. It's not exactly ecstatic United, is it? I mean, I think United have badly fallen for the Chelsea pool there and the Chelsea trap. Try and bid for Mount. We'll try and get a deal done, but you'll eventually pay what we want. And that's the problem. Mason Mount is not producing. And, giving him the number 7 shirt is another bloody disaster. Fancy giving Mason Mount the number 7 shirt to prove himself that he's going to be a United great. That number 7 shirt has come back and it's haunted him. Mason Mount is not the player we should have gone for. I'm sorry, United. You have badly spent money on a Chelsea reject that is offering nothing going forward long term to improve. I don't think he's improved that midfield. I think he's playing in the position that Fernandes likes to play in. And Fernandes is being forced on that right wing because he knows Mason Mount's there. Why can't they put Mount on the right wing and put Fernandes where he likes to play? That's another question I've got for Ten Hag. Because play Mount in Fernandes' position, which Fernandes wants to be in, Fernandes' ability on the right wing gets worse, and Mason Mount does not improve that position. And that is the big question. Should Mason Mount be in that United team at the moment? Based on performance-wise, no. He should not be in that United team. He needs to be dropped. And like I said, the same about Marcus Rashford yet again today. Marcus Rashford, personal life crisis. His personal life is causing problems on the pitch. I mean, look what he did in that car crash with his Bentley. Luckily, he came away with it unscathed. He dumps his girlfriend, gets with another girl and takes her back to a hotel room. And look at his performances on the pitch since then. What's happened to Marcus Rashford? What's happened to him? He does not look like the same player he was last season. That's concerning going forward. Should Marcus Rashford have been dropped today, I would have dropped him. I seriously would have considered dropping him and putting Garnacho on the left wing to see what Garnacho could do against that Brentford back four. Because Rashford today, Pinnock, Aya, Nathan Collins, they had Rashford figured out. And they were forcing, those three centre-backs of Brentford were forcing Rashford to shoot on sight. And Rashford was blazing shots from 40, 50 yards. You should be doing that. You need to play as a team. There's still no balance because you've got no traditional right winger, you've got no traditional left back, and your centre backs are a joke as well. And you know, the injuries are no excuse. Ahmad is still out injured. God knows when he's going to be back. Apparently after the international break. Wan-Bissake is out till Christmas. Luke Shaw is out till Christmas. Malacia apparently might be back after international break, and so will Sergio Reguilon. We need these players back because these players are absolutely shattered. And apparently these players are making the dressing room toxic. And apparently there's been a massive hangover since the Carabao Cup final last season. Why is there still a fucking hangover? What have they been out partying, drinking and clubbing and getting drunk and getting pissed up? I mean, what's the hangover? Because if they're hanging on to last season's results, you need to move on, lads. This is season 2 under Ten Hag, and you should be doing what you did last season. The United team does not look recognisable from any of the performances I saw in several United home games, several United away games, and in Europe as well. That United team looks completely unrecognisable, and I don't know why. If the dressing room is toxic and certain players are causing problems, get them out of the fucking football club. And if players do not like Bruno Fernandes as captain and they're arguing with him and his decision-making and his commitment, you can fucking do one as well. Because Bruno Fernandes is our most decorated midfielder. He's created the most chances, the most opportunities on goal. He's got our most assists, and players don't like it that he calls them out on shit performances. And yeah, Bruno Fernandes was bloody crap again today. That's 2 games that Bruno Fernandes has had bad individual performances from United. But at least he's the captain. At least he fucking leads that team. Harry Maguire might as well have been leading a bowl full of fish last season and be a fish bowl and lead all the fish in that bowl to a performance, because Harry Maguire was a shit captain. And to right, Ten Hag made the correct decision taking that armband off Harry Maguire, by the way. At least Bruno Fernandes is actually offering leadership and actually offering quality as a leader going forward. Because the rest of them do not look like a team when Fernandes is not in that team. We look miles off. Without Fernandes, that team, United are worse. I'm sorry, we really are. He wasn't great today, though. That's the only thing I would say. Yet again, from a Fernandes point of view, very crap again. That's 2 games now that Bruno Fernandes is not producing. And yes, he may be captain, and yes, he may be the leader in that team, but he's got to start answering his critics as well. He needs to get back to the Bruno Fernandes we all know and love, because otherwise that armband might have to come off him and it put on someone else's shoulder. Maybe the armband pressure is getting to him as captain and leader, because he looks around him, he looks at United team, he looks at that back four, he looks at that front three, and he's like, oh my God, we're in trouble. And we are in trouble. We've got no creativity on the wings. Rasmus Hojlund is probably our best player up front. Antony isn't ready to be back in the first team mould. Alejandro Garnacho hardly gets any game time and has only been used as a second-half substitute the last 2 games now. I mean, what did he do wrong from that Crystal Palace Carabao Cup performance when we won 3-0 at Old Trafford last week? No, 2 weeks ago. What's happened since then for Garnacho to be dropped to the bench? And I mean, he's just had a kid of his girlfriend, you know, massive congratulations to all the Alejandro Garnacho family, his friends, his family, his girlfriend, himself, and obviously his newborn kid. You would have thought that would have fired him up. You really would have thought that would have fired him up and got him to show to his newborn baby, this is what you could do if you put your commitment and desire to be a professional footballer. He needs to be setting an example now as a parent and as a dad. And he needs to start showing in the United team that he's up for this, because I don't think Garnacho deserves to be dropped, by the way. If I was manager, I would have dropped Rashford today and started Garnacho 110%. I think Garnacho would have caused more problems for Brentford in that first half, and we maybe might have been able to got in front in this first half from the Brentford 1-0 lead. We might have been able to do something there, but we didn't bloody do it. And I think that is why, maybe Rashford is being put in that team due to the branding of the team, United brand him as a player, and the market value. I think that's the only reason why Marcus Rashford is starting in that United team, and it concerns me. I think Rashford does deserve to be dropped. I personally think it needs to happen because he is not producing the problems Ten Hag's getting caused by that United front three. Rashford is way out of form and needs to be dropped. And he's in the England squad. Why Marcus Rashford is in that England squad based on his last few performances, 1 goal in 11 games. Does that really deserve an England call-up? Really, realistically, does that deserve an England call-up? Does it really deserve it? Because in my opinion, it doesn't. England should not have been picking Marcus Rashford in that team. I'm really sorry. Rashford does not deserve to be in that England team. It needs to be said now. And if Gareth Southgate has got any credentials about him as England manager, do not be starting Marcus Rashford in your next 2 games because it's not going to work, Gareth. He's way out of form. His form has dropped off a cliff. Do not risk ruining your career as England manager by starting players out of form, starting your favourites, starting your number 1 choices. Rashford, based on form, would not be getting in that England team if I was manager. Not a bloody chance he's getting in that team. So the decision was correct from Ten Hag to bring him off for Garnacho. And I agree with that decision. And you could see the applause from the Old Trafford crowd. And the Brentford fans would have been bloody happy as well. The Brentford fans would have been happy Rashford was brought off. First time you're not crying after a game. It's the first time we've won, but it's scrappy. It's not ecstatic. I'm not jumping up and down, singing song and dancing about it. United have got lucky through a midfielder that's surplus to requirements. Very, very lucky. But yeah, the decision was correct for Garnacho to come on. Yeah, exactly. Lucky win, but you won. Yeah, exactly. We did win, but it was lucky. If Scott McTominay would not have come on and that substitution does not happen, United have lost this game and United are sitting 13th in the Premier League table. We need to start moving ourselves away from the bottom half. We do not want to turn into bloody Chelsea. That is the one thing we cannot afford to happen. Where United have a Chelsea-type season that Chelsea had last season, we cannot afford for that to happen. We cannot afford to make that happen. We cannot turn into Chelsea. We can't let that happen. Because, Chelsea are picking up results now. I mean, they did play Burnley. They're shit. So United have got very, very lucky today to get this win. United have been underperforming, unenthusiastic performances, not very consistent, very poor piss football. Tactically, we look shambolic. Defensively, we're all over the place. The midfield is losing the midfield battle again when we were meant to have sorted that out with Amrabat, Mount, Casemiro, Eriksen, Fernandes, Hannibal, Mabry and Scott McTominay. You've got 7 different bloody options in that midfield and the midfield is still at 6s and 7s. And that does concern me. That really does concern me. That was meant to be the midfield rebuild we all needed. And United are nowhere near that midfield consistency that we want. That worries me. That really, really does worry me. And yeah, we are a mess. Exactly. We are a mess. We are not playing good football. We are getting lucky through lucky results. United should not be proud of that performance. You have got lucky because the whole second half you were abysmal. You had 1 shot on goal, which was through Christian Eriksen, was the best chance on goal you had. And luckily, Scott McTominay's got the equaliser. And then luckily, he's got the header from the free kick in the 96th, 97th minute and put the ball in the net. Because otherwise, United have lost this game and this season would have got worse. And Brentford would have had their first win since the late 1980s. Could you imagine if Brentford would have won that game today? Could you imagine if they would have won? That was on course to happen. And so United, overall, you can't give that performance much. You can't give it more than a 5 out of 10. You can't give it more than a 5 because at times it was very, very messy. One of my mates said, what a comeback. I said, United got over, they got lucky. Exactly. I completely agree with your view. I agree with that opinion. United got lucky and they only just scraped over the line. If I was United players, I'd be having a hard, long talk in that dressing room saying, lads, We need to step this up here. We cannot be doing this every week, because I tell you what, if we manage to save our lives in the Champions League and we manage to get out this group somehow, which I don't think will happen, if we get back in the Europa League, United are going to be one of the favourites to win. But based on their performances, I wouldn't trust them. I think the whole trust is gone. I think Ten Hag is getting by only just. I think Ten Hag should count his lucky stars today that, Scott McTominay has got him out of jail. He has got him out of jail. And I mean, Onana again today. I mean, I think, the Brentford goal is down to Casemiro's mistake in the midfield and the mistake of Onana's positioning in goal. It was bloody, bloody dreadful. Onana should count his lucky stars, and so should Casemiro, to be for a point that McTominay has found you 2 goals to rescue you. Because if you would have lost that game, a cause for Ten Hag would be massive right now. I still think there's going to be some United fans, from a big point of view. I'm still not happy with the performance. I think United should be playing way much better than that, and they should be producing a better and more clinical performances against teams like Brentford. United need to be stepping up. And if you don't want to step up, then United do need to rebuild. They are going to have to spend some money in January. Don't believe all the fairy tale financial fair play is an issue again. If United are serious about standing by Ten Hag and backing this manager, you are going to have to spend some fucking money in January, replace Sancho, sell McTominay, sell Maguire, and bring in a better goalkeeper as well for Onana, buy another striker. United are going to have to find 200 to 300 million in January. They are going to have to spend it. Because if they want to back this manager, you are going to have to spend some money and get him the players he wants. No more excuses, no more PR, no more bullshit. You are going to have to spend the money that you deep down you have. Don't believe people on Twitter who are blue tick, by the way, and other United fan accounts that money is not there. Man United have got no money. Man United are not going to be able to spend in January. Well, they're after a centre-back, aren't they? And apparently they're going to have to push forward that signing now in January instead of the summer, because United are down to the literally limits of their centre-back positions in the team. Well, if United have got money for a centre-back, they've got money for a winger, and they've got money for a striker, because if Sancho surplus, McTominay and Maguire, you could raise 110 million there. 30 million for Maguire, 30 million for Scott McTominay, 50 for Sancho. There's 110 million there. You could get a striker and a winger for that. And Man United are going to have to do it, because that team cannot go right through Christmas, right till the end of May, playing the football we are fucking playing. United have got to start stepping up. They've got to start stepping up. The money is there. The money deep down is there. Everyone knows it. United cannot get by with FFP or forever. It is the biggest myth in football ever. And all I have to say to you is, to prove that, 3 words is, Chelsea Football Club, spend money. Chelsea Football Club, spend money. And look what it's now doing. It is now producing results. It is now producing results. It's producing results. So United have got lucky. We have beat Brentford 2-1 at Old Trafford. Thank God for Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay. I mean, thank God. Seriously, thank God for Scott McTominay, because without those 2 goals, United lose that game, and it's a bad, bad weekend again for Manchester United fans and supporters across the globe. United have got over the line. And I mean, thank God for Ten Hag's substitution, his tactics, and thank God United found something from somewhere to get this win today. It was desperately needed, because otherwise we would have been sat 13th tonight, 5 points above the bottom 3. Thank God we found something from there. United got out of jail. They basically had to play the Monopoly board game and borrow the get out of jail free card. They basically borrowed the get out of jail free card from the Monopoly board game to get over the line and beat Brentford. If we're having to give a man of the match, I think obviously 2 goals for Scott McTominay to rescue the game. And I think another clinical performance from Rasmus Hojlund, the way he was able to pressured the Brentford back four with his strengthening his position and the way he was out-turning that Brentford back four. So I hope you enjoyed this reaction. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and remember to always remember to put the notification bell at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the last few months in 2023 on this channel for more Fortnite, Chapter 4, Season 4 Last Resort. We've got more Rocket League Season 12 Porsche, more previews, more match reactions. Go and check out my other socials. I'm now on Twitch, which is United Red Devils 20, all in one word, all capitals, no spaces, no gaps. I'm on Instagram and Instagram Threads, which is both Alex Eldon 7. I'm also on TikTok. Go and give me a follow on there, United Red Devils 20. I'm also on Twitter. Go and give me a follow on that as well. I'm on Discord. I'm also on that, United Red Devils 20 as well. And we've got no Premier League football now for 2 weeks. We are on another pointless, incompetent 2-week international break to watch Gareth Southgate ball again, which is pointless. So there'll be no previews and no reactions because United do not play till the next 2 weeks. That'll be against Sheffield United. And I will tell you now, the date for that preview we have got for that game will be on Wednesday, the 18th of October. We will have the Premier League preview for Man United's next game in their Premier League season on match day 9 of the 23-24 season in the Premier League. Sheffield United is our next game. The preview for that will be on the 18th of October, and the reaction will be on the 21st of October after the game finishes on that Saturday evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. I'm going to go and watch F1 sprint race where Max Verstappen could be crowned world champion for a 3rd time in a row. And hopefully he does it because he's an absolute superb world-class driving talent. And yeah, enjoy your Saturday evening. Stay safe. Be nice. Be kind. You're all legends. You're all legendary. Manchester United 2, Brentford 1. United have got over the line thanks to Scott McTominay. Scooby-Doo. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you on the next one.